Hi everyone, my name's Tom. I'm one of the founders of First In Events, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start a series of videos to give some advice to people that might want to turn up on our events for their clothing, equipment and preparation, etc. Now, I don't claim to be a guru in this subject, however, I have a fairly good understanding and experience of life on the hills and in the field. I've spent 32 years in the parachute regiment, so I've spent a lot of time tabbing up and down hills during that period. I know what kit works, especially for me at least, so I'd just like to pass on some of that knowledge to help some of you guys like save on your pain when you turn up on day one, okay? Right then, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is your personal clothing. So going from head to toe then, what I'm going to talk about is the actual gear that you want to be wearing, the sort of kit you want to be wearing whilst you're attending some of these events and you're out in the hills. So going from head to toe then, you can see I'm wearing a hat here. Okay, I find that a baseball cap actually works quite well in most conditions, most weathers when you're out on the hills. What it does is it keeps the rain off your head if it's hammering down. It will keep the rain out your eyes with a peak, and also it's not too hot. So even if it's, you know, like fairly warm, it's not too hot, and it will keep the sun off your head as well. So sometimes you do get some really hot days out on the Brecon Beacons, and you definitely need something covering your head. So it'll keep the sun out your eyes, the sun off your head in hot weather, and in cold weather it will keep a little bit of heat there, but not too much. I have heard someone once say about wearing a woolly hat in the summer and dipping it in a stream to try and cool your head down. I think that's a ridiculous idea, because you know, you're still putting a woolly hat on your head. That's crazy. Even in the winter, personally, I find a woolly hat a bit warm when I'm tabbing up penny fan, but each to their own, okay? Right then, so going down from there then, I'm wearing a sort of a fairly lightweight windbreaker jacket, okay? You don't want to be wearing a big puffer jacket that's going to give you loads and loads of warmth when you're starting off on the hills, okay? What you want to do is start off feeling a little bit cold. You know, like in the winter, obviously in the summer you won't be, but in the winter you're going to start off feeling a little bit cold, because as you set off you're going to generate a lot of heat, especially if you're carrying a rucksack, which you should be, okay, with safety gear in it. So for your outside layer, wear a windproof type layer. This one here it's like a shark skin type material, so it give me a little bit of protection from a little showers and stuff. It's not 100% waterproof, but if it broke out of in a small shower, it would be okay. In the summer I wouldn't wear one. This is slightly too thick for the summer, so I'd wear a lighter weight windbreaker, or if it's super hot then maybe just a t-shirt or a base layer, okay? What you want in your jacket though is not lots of nice pockets so you can stow things that you need to have to hand. Okay, so one point here then, so I've got a chest pocket here, and in here I've got a silver compass. Okay, so that's in a very accessible pocket. I can get out really easy to take bearings and navigate with. All right, this is in mils. A mils compass is more accurate than a degrees compass. It's what the military uses. It's what I'm used to using. It's the preferable type. Okay, it's attached with a lanyard to my jacket pocket. Okay, so that if I was to drop it or put it, I can't put it down and forget it. Okay, so it's always attached to me. It's an important piece of kit to always have on your body. Also attached to that lanyard then, I've got a whistle. You don't have to have it attached to your compass lanyard, but possibly a good idea to have it tied on somewhere, because this is a survival bit of kit. Now, if you were injured, or you find someone else that's injured, and you try crying for help, you're shouting and screaming for help, your voice is going to get hoarse really quickly. And also, if you've got a whistle, the noise of that whistle is going to carry far further than just you shouting, because you could be in a remote part of the area where there's not people walking around, okay? So it's always good to carry a whistle on your body. Okay, in one of my other pockets here then, I've got a phone, and in the phone is actually in a waterproof case. It's an Aquapack waterproof case. There's a few different types out there. This allows me to use the phone whilst it's in the case. It's 100% waterproof, but I can still use all the functions on the phone, okay? I can use the screen stuff and take photos or whatever. But the important thing is obviously if you get totally and utterly lost, or if you do come across a casualty or something, if you've got signal, then you can use your phone to call for help, for mountain rescue, okay? However, don't rely on your phone for navigation. I know there's lots of good apps out there. There's like GPS type apps and stuff like that, which are great, but your phone battery can die. Everybody knows phone batteries don't last that long nowadays. And also in the cold, when you're up on the Brecon Beacons, on the hills, the cold will reduce your battery life significantly. Okay, so don't rely on your battery on your phone or on your phone at all. Obviously, before you set off, make sure your phone is charged 100% and you've got your location services turned on. So if anybody was to try and find you if you go missing, then you know you've got that aid. You can see there that that's attached to my jacket as well, and what I've got is one of these small carabiner things. Okay, I've got that there. That's to attach it, so I can take it off really easily as well. So that's all I'm carrying in my jacket. All right. What you don't want to be doing is filling your pockets up with all sorts of stuff. You could possibly put some snacks and stuff in your pockets, but what you'll find, especially in the warm months, things like chocolate can melt in your pockets. All right. So personally, if you can put a pouch on your Bergen or your day sack, and I'll cover that in a later video, then you know that's the better option. Okay, talking about clothing, upper body still. So underneath my jacket, what I've got is a technical t-shirt. Okay, so this is the sort of thing you might wear in the gym and all that. This is actually a rab one, but you can get some really cheap ones out there nowadays. As long as it's like a technical type material, that's what you're after. Now, if you was to wear a cotton t-shirt, what happens is the sweat stays within the material. It doesn't get wicked away like it would do with a technical t-shirt, and your back will get really cold, and especially in the sort of winter months, even if you're wearing a you know, like a jacket over the top, you'll be wet underneath from the sweat, and there's nowhere for that sweat to escape to. So personally, not a good idea to wear a cotton t-shirt. Always wear something that's going to wick the sweat away. And you can get long sleeve versions of these for use in the winter. You can get slightly heavier weight ones with like a zip up collar and stuff for when it is pretty cold. But whatever you wear underneath your jacket, make sure it's like a technical type material. Okay, right then, so I'm just going to tilt the camera down a little bit. So what we've got then for trousers, so whatever trousers you're going to wear, make sure they're relatively loose fitting, and they're able to give you your sort of like the movement that you need, the high leg movement as you're going up high feet, just like Jacob's Ladder on Penifan. Okay, so they need to be nice and comfortable and loose fitting. Also, like the jacket, what I always go for in my trousers is something with decent pockets. All right, again, you don't want to be filling them up with loads of stuff, but there's a couple of things you need to have. Right then, so personally, what I always carry in my trousers, and make sure they've got a pocket big enough, is my map. So my left hand side pocket here, what I've got is my map, and that's in a map case. Okay, so this map case is an Ortlieb map case. It's the type that I've always used for a long time, since joining the Pathfinders in '95. I discovered these, and they're a great bit of kit. They're made from like a flexible rubberized plastic material, and what that does, it doesn't go rigid, it doesn't crack, and it's 100% waterproof. You could wade through a river with this and it'd still be usable on the other side. This is attached with a lanyard, again, to my trouser pocket there, with one of those little carabiner things, so I can take it off quickly if need be. And that's folded to the area that I need. There's no point getting up on the hill and realising, oh dear, I haven't got the area that I need to use whilst I'm on the route. So you can see there that that is the central Brecon Beacons, and that is the area that I'll need for most of the routes that we'll be covering on First In events. So that folds away nicely in my pocket there, sits out of the way. Obviously, if you've got a jacket that's got decent pockets on that can fit a map, then that's great too. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about next then is footwear. So when you're attending First In events, especially if you're load bearing, you want to be wearing a pair of decent ankle supporting boots. Okay, you can get trail running shoes that do a half decent job, but if you're carrying a Bergen, you want to be wearing something that's going to support your ankles. All right, so what I'm wearing here then, these are a pair of Salomon Quest 4D boots. They're Gore-Tex, so they're waterproof to a point. Obviously anything you wear can get impregnated by the water, by rain, or going through streams and stuff, but they're waterproof to a degree at least. What I'll show you now then, they're fairly high ankle leg boots, so they'll give me good ankle support as I'm going over uneven terrain, wet terrain, rocks, stuff like that. On the bottom then, they've got a good tread, see that there? So they've got a good tread there, give you good stability whilst going over wet or uneven terrain as well. Alright, there's loads of good boot makes out there, Lower, Scarpa, etc., stuff like that. Just basically make sure that you find something that you're comfortable in, make sure that you wear them in so that they're ready to go for when you do events, because if you don't, you're going to have problems with your feet. One of the most important things is to have good footwear whilst you're tabbing over the hills. If you don't, you're going to have a bad day. Okay then, so that's me completed speaking about all the clothing, footwear, etc. that you need to be wearing and prepared whilst attending first-in events whilst you're on the hills. I hope this has been informative to you, and hopefully see you soon on some of the events we're holding. Remember, keep low, move fast.